Okay. So this morning I was working in the house instead of in my cabin because my computer was being temperamental. So I was working on the other computer, and Venerable Hoko and I started looking at the news and looking at these pictures, because there's a rally in Paris today. They expect 1 million people going out on the streets in support of liberty. What's the French? Liberty, fraternity? Equality, liberty, and fraternity, something like that, yeah? So they're all coming. They expect 1 million people. They're making all the public transportation free so that people can get there. And there's 40 world leaders there. Isn't that amazing? You know, from Cameron and how do you say Merkel? Merkel. Yeah. Okay. The president of Mali, somebody from Spain. Holder was in France at the time. They didn't mention somebody from the U.S. in the march, but you know who was there was Netanyahu and Abbas, standing like with maybe 4 people between them. That's all. That's pretty significant, you know. He's the president of the Palestinian Authority, you know, and so it's like 40 world leaders came together, you know, in support of liberty, equality, and fraternity, and they were all marching down the street, arm in arm. It was incredible, these world leaders, you know, and also, you know, everybody else too. And so Venerable Samten and I were saying, it's, you know, why didn't that happen after 9/11? Yeah? Why didn't it happen after 9/11? We didn't do that. You know, I was thinking that Holland, you know, is, I mean, he's really giving the people good advice. He's saying, let's come together and let's be one people and let's show our solidarity. And so as a result, you know, you had Jews coming to the thing, you had Muslims coming to the retreat, to the march, you had all sorts of different people from all sorts of different backgrounds coming out in full mass. I mean, the pictures were just amazing of jammed streets and plazas and everything. And what were we told to do after 9/11? Go shopping. You know? But Holland is saying, let's be unified as people. Let's come back to our basic core values as people. You know? And I thought, wow, you know, our country really missed the boat on that, didn't we? You know, we just sat here going, how can people do that to us? And, you know, let's go start a couple of wars. So we both found it very, very inspiring to see all these people come out together in a show of solidarity, even though there are people who disagree about many, many other topics. Yeah. But just a show of solidarity or something like this, I think, is like incredibly important. Yeah. And so, you know, a couple of days ago we talked about it too, you know, because the question arose that, you know, the people from the magazine, did they some way bring this on themselves through, you know, their use of satire and all. And so, yes, in some way they did, but that doesn't give other people a good reason to kill them. You know, we have to have a reason in society to respect differences, even if we don't like the differences so much, or we don't like the way people express them so much. And I think also it's important for us to be sensitive to the needs and the images and so forth from other cultures, and not have a motivation that we deliberately want to set people off and irritate them. Okay? But as I was saying a couple of days ago, you know, we don't know what the motives of the people in the magazine were. Yeah? And so, you know, to say, oh, they deserved it or whatever, I don't think is quite fair to them, because we do have freedom of speech. On the other hand, you know, it is good to be sensitive to other religions and so on. And on the other hand, it's good not to be so so touchy about things, and to be able to endure a little bit of ridicule. And as I was saying a couple of days ago, if you belong to the group that's being ridiculed, you can ridicule your own group all you want. But as soon as somebody else does, you don't like it. But something that I have found can be quite interesting to do. I've never really done it in a situation of social criticism like that, with criticism of a group, but in personal things, when people make fun of me, I join in. Yeah, and whatever they're making fun of, I join in and I go along with it, and then we all laugh together, and it's done. Yeah, whereas if somebody's making fun of me and I get prickly and like, how can you make fun of me like this? Then it becomes like a big thing for me and a big thing for them. And you know, and if they had the motivation to get my tail, they succeeded, you know. But if I can laugh at myself, then it all evaporates, yeah. So, anyway, I think it's nice to celebrate this feeling of, you know, at least unity in values and principles, this coming about, and to see, you know, world leaders who often disagree on many other things come together in a way like this, I think is an important statement for people. Yeah. Not only world leaders, but all the different kinds of citizens in France, you know, because it's a multicultural society, so people from all the different cultures coming together. Any comments or? Yeah, so I remember that too before the Iraq War, that there was a lot of protest internationally about it. And you had never really seen this before in any other war situation. You know, whoever protested World War II or World War I before we entered into either of them, or, you know, Vietnam we protested, but afterwards. Yeah, but this was before. And so you're pointing out that despite people doing horrible things, the number of people coming together saying we want to live together and find a way to live together peacefully is, you know, it's a huge number of people. Yeah.
Really what his holiness is always saying. He thinks people say the world's going to hell, and he says, no, it's getting better.
Yeah. I don't know that His Holiness says it's getting better. He says we have to make this a century of peace, because the previous century was a century of war.
But he has said that.
Yeah.
Without the intention of hurting.
Yeah, okay. So this is interesting, a view from a Singaporean, and I think your view is from the little I know about Singapore, very widely shared, which is if you don't know anything about a different group, don't say anything, and be very careful of what you do say, not to offend other people. And it is true in Singapore that you can get arrested for this kind of thing. In the States, you wouldn't get arrested. You know, there would be a big hoopla, everybody would write letters, there would be a ton of court cases, and probably in the end it would be okay for you to say it. Yeah. And because it's different, there's a difference between speech that is said with the intent to stir people up and make them violent, and speech that is just said expressing your own opinion. Yeah. And so there's a difference between that. And, you know, we tend to say a lot of different things in this country. Yeah. But of course, the standard example is if you're in a crowded theater, you can't yell fire. That's not freedom of speech, because that's going to harm people. Yeah. Yeah. But we say a lot of different things, and comedians make fun of a lot of different people here. Oh, yeah, the talk show hosts are really...
And neo-Nazis still get parade licenses, and Ku Klux Klan can meet.
Yes, actually, yeah, the Ku Klux Klan can meet, and, you know, you can, yeah, you can't burn a cross on somebody else's lawn, but you can certainly meet and talk about it. Yeah, that kind of stuff wouldn't be allowed in Singapore. They would. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, it was a very inspiring feeling to look at these pictures and you know, send our support to people.